So let's rank all the films I watched for the first time last month in December 2022. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, back again with another ranking. This time around, I'm going to be bringing to you my December 2022 first time watches. I watched 26 films for the first time. This will include some Christmas films. Now, a few of them I had seen mostly a bit of, but not all of them, which will be shown, I'm counting as first times, okay? Anyway, now I'll be going quickly through the first, let's see here, the first 16 flicks in my view, and then I'll be back for the top 10. Now, if you're ready, let's start the rankings. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Number 26 is The Miracle on 34th Street from 1955. Now, this aired as part of the 20th Century Fox Hour, and, well, I didn't think this was good at all. If you want to check out, maybe get a little peek at it. The full movie's on YouTube. I think it's still on Tubi as well. But I'd say this is not the best. I failed to see the 1959 version that came out 4 years later. But the cast is okay and all, but it's just too short. Number 25 is Nothing But Trouble from 1991. Though despite it has a pretty good all-star cast in my view, featuring Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, John Candy, and Dan Aykroyd in his directorial debut, this film unfortunately bombed at the box office. I'll talk more about it when I give you my review of this later in the month. This was alright, but it wasn't really that great though. Number 24 is Black Christmas from 2019. This film also bombed at the box office. I won't talk too much. The film's okay. While I appreciate it having a different twist on the tale, and a lot of people kind of got onto this and what have you. But I did have one good liking about this, which was a song called Up in the Frat House. But I'll talk more when I review this later on this year. I know it's a ways though, but I'll review this holiday season. Number 23 is Spy Kids, All the Time in the World from 2011. This film didn't do as well as the other three. I plan to review the third film later on this year, but I'll also try and review this later on in the year. While I appreciate having the original Spy Kids back all grown up and what have you, and some of the cast was okay, but some of this just wasn't really as good as what I imagined it would be. Number 22 is Moonfall from last year. This film also didn't quite do that well at the box office, and this might have a pretty good all-star cast, though. It included Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, and others. I watched it during my free preview of HBO Max, and well, again, it was fine though. It's not really Roland Emmerich's best disaster film. I'd much rather watch Independence Day or The Day After Tomorrow after this. Number 21 is Don't Worry, Darling, also from last year. This film also didn't do too well considering being directed by Olivia Wilde, and it wasn't as well received as her breakout directorial debut in Booksmart, though it has a pretty good cast that includes Florence Pugh, who I really loved in this. Harry Styles is in it, so is Wilde herself. But the film's okay. It's kind of weird in some ways. Number 20 is Underwater from 2020. This would be the last film to be released under 20th Century Fox before they became 20th Century Studios, since this was actually produced the year before that, but didn't get released until early 2020. Even before the pandemic even hit. Kristen Stewart is, fine in this. It was just kind of a little, I don't know. But I think it's an okay film. I mean, with being so thrilling and what have you. Number 19 is The Star from 2017. Now, I tried watching this a time or two and failed because I well, kind of dozed off and what have you. I almost did this time, but I managed to catch it up with and watch it all. So I'm considering this an actual full first time watching this. It's a pretty good film and a pretty good cast. Bunch of animals trying to follow the star and what have you. Learn about the trimming of Christmas and what have you, and the birth of Jesus. I might review this one day. Number 18 is Storks from 2016. This would be the second film from Warner Animation Group after the Lego movie was a success. This film did pretty well, and I've got to say, it does have a pretty big cast and what have you. This film just cracked me up when I watched it on Netflix. I must say, it's just pretty darn funny. I definitely need to review this one day. Number 17 is Strange World from last year. This came out just over a month ago and stuff. The movie's now playing on Disney Plus. If you didn't go to your theater to check it out, the film's fun. What have you? I like the way the atmosphere turned out and everything. The characters aren't too bad here. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this, check it out. Number 16 is Darby and the Dead, also from last year. This is a Hulu film. I got Hulu last year, and I've been watching some flicks on there. I gotta say, this film was pretty fun and what have you. I did do a spoiler-free review of this. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty good. A gal can talk with the dead and what have you, especially after, well, a big rival of hers electrocutes herself. Check this out if you haven't. Number 15 is Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard from 2021. This, of course, is the sequel to the Hitman's Bodyguard, which I've already reviewed. I am going to give you a review of this later on this month. And, well, this got a little more hate than its predecessor. But I thought this film was an absolute hysterical, comic, action-packed blast from start to finish. Still, we got some good performances, but I'll talk more about this when I review it. Number 14 is the Bob's Burgers movie from last year. Though I'm not really that much of a into the show, but since this was so popular, I thought I'd check it out. And well, I'm not really watching the series yet, but after watching this, I thought it was pretty funny and what have you. It had some pretty fun moments. I might review this later on. Number 13 is Scrooged from 1988. I've been having thoughts about seeing this. This film became a big hit, directed by Richard Donner, who, of course, directed The Omen, Superman, and The Goonies, as well as Lethal Weapon, which he did before this, and then the following year its sequel. Bill Murray's absolutely really funny in this crazy take on A Christmas Carol. I definitely gotta review this later on. I know this year's going to be its anniversary, so be on the lookout for a review coming up this season. Number 12 is Barbarian from last year. I watched this on HBO Max, and I gotta say, this was a real scary and freaky flick. I liked it though. This is one of my favorite horror flicks of the year. If you have not seen my spoiler free review of this yet, then you need to check it out. Number 11 is Say Anything from 1989. I know this is a rom-com or something like that. I know got a lot of good reviews and what have you. I definitely should review this film sometime down the road. John Cusack was absolutely really good in this. And, well, it does have that famous boombox scene trying to get the girl's attention. Okay, that's out of the way. I sure hope you are enjoying this so far. Now it's time for the top 10. This is going to be a big one. Some of these might surprise you, some of them, well, I don't know. But you be the judge when you see this ranking, this half of the ranking. Well, are you ready? Then let's continue with the top 10 in my December first time watches ranking. Coming in at number 10 is Miracle on 34th Street from 1973. Now, this is the made for TV movie that CBS aired. It stars Sebastian Cabot as Kris Kringle. Now, this film's kind of underrated. I'm not probably pretty sure a lot of people have not talked about this film. It is the third remake, counting the 1955 and 59 films, which again I failed to watch that one, but I will watch that. Like those two, the full movie is available on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't. I did like the performances we got from most of the cast. We got some pretty good big names in that have you, like Roddy McDowall, Jim Backus, even Tom Bosley before Happy Days even premiered. Conrad Janis is in this. I like them and a lot of the other cast performances too, but I also like young Suzanne Davidson as Susan. She was absolutely really good. But you'll have to take my word for it. You be the judge. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'd say maybe watch it. I'll give you a full review of this later in the year, along with the other made for TV movies. Again, the full movie is on YouTube. Check it out. Next, coming in at number 9 is Falling for Christmas from last year. This is a Netflix film. If you haven't seen my spoiler free review on this one, check it out. Lindsay Lohan makes a big comeback after all these years in this film. Yeah, I thought this film was just so good. Yeah, a few good fun moments. Made me feel like I was watching what was I consider to be a mix of Overboard and well, one of those Hallmark Channel movies rolled into one. I must say, I really enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't seen my review, check it out. Next, coming in at number 8 is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I did a mini review on this, and this film was very well, despite it wasn't really much of a film, it was a short film. It's on Disney Plus. Check it out if you haven't. I mean, even though Christmas is over, but hey, if you want to make up for some lost time for the holidays, then check it out. It was very funny. I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out this year. We'll see where that winds up on the ranking of films that I'm hoping to check out this year, which will be coming up later on. But anyway, this holiday special is absolutely crazy, just like what you could get from the movies itself. Check out the mini review if you haven't. It's also spoiler free. And here's a couple more flicks that came out last year. Next, number 7 is A Christmas Story Christmas. Now, this was the second film I watched on my free trial of HBO Max last week after I watched the original itself. Don't worry, I am bar watching A Christmas Story 2, which was direct to video. That was old. That one was man, alright, but not great. This was much better with Peter Billingsley back as Ralphie. It's great having him. If you haven't seen my spoiler free review on this one, you need to check out. There was one thing I forgot to point out on that. I will give you a little heads up. Before the movie starts, you get to see the old Warner Bros. Big W logo, which makes that the second time we've seen that in the last few years since Joker. But I gotta say, they did one heck of a job with this film. I really liked it. Cast was really good too. Even Julie Haggerty, who played Ralphie's mother this time. So anyway, this had a lot of fun, and it has grown up versions of most of the the kids you've seen from the actual original classic. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I think you'll really like it. And coming in at number 6, here's another film from last year, and that film is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Now, I had a lot of fun watching this. It was just about as good as its predecessor. If you have not seen my review of this one, check it out if you haven't. Daniel Craig, once again, good in this. I mean, well, despite it has a new cast and why that includes Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, and let's see, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, and a host of others. I gotta say, this was really funny. It Premiered on Netflix. You gotta check this out. If you do like the first Knives Out, then check this one out as well. It's got some good moments and why have you. Yeah, really good. Next, coming in at number 5 is The Carpenters, A Christmas Portrait from 1978. This, of course, is named after their first Christmas album of the same name. While I had revisited the first special they did, which we'll see where that, which you will see on the Christmas rewatches ranking. Almost gave saying we'll see where it winds up on the rewatches ranking, but I did that on a separate Christmas rewatches ranking. Sorry about that. But I love this special. You can find the full special on YouTube. You can actually find it on Richard Carpenter's YouTube channel. If you're a big fan of Carpenters, then you'll want to check this one out. It's really good, and I got a few good, fun moments from it. We're having some special guests, including Gene Kelly, Christy and Jimmy McNichol, Georgia Engel, and even Peter Pitt. I've got to say, this was a very, very good special. Mm-hmm. So, again, if you haven't seen it, check it out if you're a Carpenters fan. Okay, next coming in at number 4 is Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Return to Hogwarts from last year. Now, this and the last 3 tiles on here are all going to be from last year. Now, it's actually been a year now since this premiered on HBO Max. Now, I intended to watch this on TV when TBS and Cartoon Network aired it and failed to catch it. But since I had that HBO Max free trial, I knew that was going to change. I found it, I watched it. It was really good to see a lot of the cast back, even some of the people who worked on the films, like directors like Chris Columbus, Alfonso Cuarón, and of course David Yates. We even got to see the late great Robbie Coltrane being interviewed for the last time before his death last year. May he rest in peace. Anyway, this 20th anniversary special was just so incredible. I'm glad I finally got to see it. Since I've already reviewed all the Harry Potter films, but even so, I'm just glad to have gotten to see this great group of stars that were pretty big when they first came out on the big screen in 2001. Now, coming in at number 3 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I just more recently did a spoiler-free review of. Finally glad I got to see it before last year was over with. I've got to say, this film is very good. It's a big step up from the first one. It was great to return to the big world of fairy tales that started out back in Shrek. Anyway, Antonio Banderas, once again, great as the title character. Salma Hayek was great, again, as Katie Softpaws. The rest of the cast wasn't too bad either. Especially Florence Pugh, voice Goldilocks. I loved this movie. This is another good film from DreamWorks Animation, and it's just so much fun. It was just so much fun to watch. It had its moments. So again, if you haven't seen my review of it, then check it out. And coming in at number 2 is Matilda the Musical. Yes, I loved this. I love this more than the 1996 film, but don't take my word for it. You just gotta have to find for yourself. I did do a spoiler-free review of this as well. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And I've seen a lot of you have already seen it. It's gotten 30 views. Thank you. I'm just gonna say I loved every bit of it. The songs were real good. Performances from Lashana Lynch and Emma Thompson as Miss Honey and Miss Trunchbull were really good. They were all really good, but I really loved the performance from young Alicia Weir, who played the title character. She was so incredible. Definitely watch this on Netflix because that's where it's at. and it's streaming on there. But you get the point. It was really fun. I think you'll enjoy this a whole lot if you haven't already. Check out my review if you haven't seen this, if you haven't seen it yet. And finally, coming in at number one, my number one first time watch of December 2022 is Avatar: The Way of Water. This long awaited sequel to the 2009 film, despite its over 3 hour runtime, was still incredible. I mean, I think I enjoyed this just as much as the first film. It's still doing so well, and I will say that this had a really really good cast of characters, old and new. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review for this one, then you must check it out immediately. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, you definitely gotta go see it. Avatar: The Way of Water, you won't be disappointed with it. Just don't get bored by its over 3 hour runtime, okay? So now you know what my first time watches of December 2022 were. What were some of your first time watches? Or did you like any of these films that made the list? You can give me your top pick or maybe your top three or top five tops, okay? If you'd like, in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you my other December 2022 rewatches with the other films that I rewatch outside the Christmas films. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, check out my spoiler-free reviews of the top three that I just mentioned. The upper left-hand corner is the review on Avatar: The Way of Water. The upper right-hand corner is the review of Matilda the Musical. And the bottom left-hand corner is the review of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.